Hey everyone, just wanted to thank you for the responses from the first video. I really appreciate just the kind words that a lot of y'all had to say, especially my friends. So yeah, I know it's like I don't think I've ever done this before, made a video like back to back like this, but I'm feeling good. And then it's kind of one of those like strike while the iron's still hot kind of feeling. So I'm just gonna go for it. And so for the second one, I looked back as in my OneNote, I had a couple questions I saved, and one of them were particularly interesting, as well as some questions I saw even in today's post on Reddit. And so I have a couple questions that I'd like to go over for this video, and so I hope you enjoy. The first question comes from user NX9097. I can't remember exactly when I screenshotted this. So from the document itself, it seems like it's close to like January of this year, which is kind of crazy. But this person asked, from when you got into fashion and now, how much did your taste change? And yeah, it's changed a bunch for sure. And I think for me personally, I got into fashion because my mom, she's very into style and shopping, and just watching like music videos of Korean artists. I always thought their like outfits and costumes were so cool. And I think that definitely got me into fashion and just seeing like early J. Crew catalogs and lookbooks. But it's changed so much for sure. I do have a soft spot for like workwear and Americana and prep and like blue blazer kind of clothing and style. But no, I think as for myself, as a person, as I've changed to try and be more like very more validating for others, I have been more accepting of different styles and interested in different styles. Namely, I think new ones for me, more streetwear, and yeah, no, that's a big one. Again, that's pretty general. It encompasses a lot, but yeah, streetwear is a big one for sure. Getting more into like sneaker culture itself, getting a pair of like Jordans or multiple pairs of Jordans and things like that. And so it's changed a lot, and that's me personally. But I think something important to note from this question is that like how does that happen? You know, how and why do people's styles change? And I think for sure there's a variety of reasons to explain it, but one of them for me is that it's just inspiration and acting on that inspiration. um, for me, I mentioned this topic in a previous video, but I find inspiration from everything. You know, it's really easy to talk about like movies and celebrities. Like Ryan Gosling was a huge style inspiration for me. Kanye West, ASAP Rocky, all very popular answers for men. But in addition to that, there's also like animations, anime itself. You know, there's some Ghibli movies where people have the characters have really nice outfits that definitely inspired me. There's one, I think it was called like Ocean Blue, and it's a Ghibli movie that's not talked about often, but it's about kind of like it's like a high school slice of life, which again it doesn't really fit. I feel like into that studio's mo. But there's some really cool outfits there that even kind of help inspire me to get this shirt from Kamakura. And so I've mentioned media and how that's of course a huge inspiration for style. But really, truly, inspiration can come from anywhere, whether it's food or music or just life experiences. You know, the people you know in life, the people you meet in life. Yeah, and so that all inspires me, because I'm a huge believer of this statement, of in that fashion is art, clothing is art. And so much like art, when you see something that evokes an emotional response or just yeah a feeling inside of you, I think that means something, and that I think gives good direction for you to where you might want your style to head to or what you might want to wear, right? um and so yeah, I'm taking like a little bit of a pause here because I think for me too, this is a great time to talk about it. As I'm making more content and as I'm feeling empowered to do so, I want it to be behind a message of validation and empowerment to you. Clothing is tough. You know, there's a lot of um, maybe like restrictive beauty standards in society, um, that just don't, like, I just don't think that are helpful, to people's mental health. And so I hope that through my content, I hope, of course, you can learn more about fashion, but you can find validation in your own image and in your own style. Because I'm really all for just like anyone wearing anything as long as they think they look cool, and I think they're being kind. Those are ultimately the two most important things for me. But yeah, going back to the original question, my style has changed so much, and I don't imagine that even changing in of itself anytime soon. I'm curious what trend or like what piece inspires me and moves me, but I'm excited for it and I'm all open for it. And I'm curious to hear what inspires you all, and where and what your style is headed towards. And so that was pretty. So that was kind of not a heavier, maybe a deeper question than I anticipated, or at least my answer to be. But for the second one, this is one I answered today actually, May 15th. Is so Mr. Debelius said that he is a 26-year-old, 180 centimeter tall, very skinny, wearing Nike Air Force One guy. He asked, "What pair of jeans will look better on me, and with these shoes, in your opinion?" He mentioned Levi's Stay Loose, Levi's 502 Taper Highball, Levi's 551Z, and what is more up to date with today's jeans fashion? And I really enjoyed this question. I love that he went and did some of his own research on some jeans, and that was great. And I think those Levi's are a great place to start off with. And for me, I really enjoyed wearing more wide pants and wide trousers. I'm really happy they're trending because they're extremely comfortable and breathable in these hot Texas spring and summers. And so starting from there, yeah, I think going with a wider Levi's model is great. And then if you want to look to expand to maybe different wide trousers, Universal Works is a brand I mention quite often. They're based in the UK, and I feel like I kind of mentioned them maybe as a stepping stone to Engineered Garments, a very famous Japanese brand that creates very wonderful workwear pieces, or Story MFG Manufacturing. I really don't know which one it is, but it's another UK brand that has beautiful clothing with an interesting story behind each one, as they have very unique textiles to make their pieces. And so yeah, I'd start there. And for this person, I even went as far to say, I've thought of this because while on Instagram or TikTok or other social media, I've seen guys, namely from Japan, wear wide pants and wide fitting just t-shirts, and usually they are on maybe like the more slim end. But even if not, these guys wear these outfits with more chunky sneakers, like New Balances are very popular, or what is it, Air Force Ones I think are applicable as well. And so yeah, I'm curious to see what he says, but that's kind of what the response I had for him was as well in the thread. And then for today's last question, let's see. It had to do from the True Grit Look, and they asked advice on polos for summer, looking to spend under $80 per shirt. Thanks. And so yeah, another great question. I think as we get into the summer, people are definitely looking for clothes that are stylish but also functional in terms of what the heat, right? And so I mentioned how I do have experience with a brand I mentioned yesterday, Spire McKay, and their polos, and I'm pretty happy with them. I do need to either shed a couple pounds to fit into my current ones, or another great idea, just buy what fits your body, right? And so yeah, I could also just buy more from them. But I've also heard great things about Arket, Arket. It's a UK brand that I don't have too much experience with personally, but I have some friends and peers of mine that really enjoy their clothing. And so those two are some strong recommendations I have for polos under that $80 mark. And so yeah, just keeping it simple for this one. Again, DM me on any of my social media platforms, and if you haven't subscribed, definitely want to have that call to action. Please subscribe. I would love your support in that manner. And yeah, thanks again. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.